What's up, YouTube world? I am Aaron.
And I'm Craig,
This
and
is
we are the
heroic reality. Alright, today
What?
we're gonna be
What?
doing an E3 podcast. Alright, but I wanted to put
As
a
you
little.
can tell, this is like our
Yeah,
fifth time
oh
trying to
my
do
God.
this intro,
I'm gonna put out a little.
we're just gonna go with
I'm gonna
it.
put out a little disclaimer though beforehand though. So if there's anything you thought we should talk about but didn't, be sure to let us know in the comments because we're gonna be talking about stuff that we either play or are excited to play and that we feel we're gonna have valuable input into. So one of the things we're not gonna be talking about is Nintendo, which I know is a big favorite of a lot of people. So if you'd like us to talk about that, we could probably do another video on it. But as of now, we don't ever do Nintendo stuff, so we don't feel that we'd have a lot of input.
I will say that the only thing that we will probably talk about Nintendo is that the new Legend of Zelda game looks good.
No, I don't play Legend and stuff. Alright, so
Well, you should go play.
probably. Alright, so for
That's
the
a
first
joke.
thing,
That's a joke.
the
I'm
first
not telling
thing,
him to
yeah,
actually
this is a
kill him.
PC world. We can't make jokes like that, Craig.
Gosh.
You gotta respect. You can't offend people, guys. All right. So
Alright.
first thing we're gonna talk about here is EA, and first on the list, fam, Titanfall 2. Did you play the first Titanfall?
No, I have not,
I
but
did.
I've seen quite a few, not really walkthroughs, but like playthroughs of it. Just just people playing it, and for me, because I didn't really start getting into video games until a year ago when I started when I built my PC, and then like 6 months ago I bought an Xbox, and
GG.
just from what I remember of Titanfall 1, it just kind of reminded me of Call of Duty, Black Ops 3 whenever I got it, just by how advanced and wall running and crap. And then looking at this Titanfall 2, it's a step up.
Well, one of the things people always like trashed it for was that it looked like Advanced Warfare, except in my personal opinion, Advanced Warfare was the worst Call of Duty ever made. Well, until Infinity Wars comes out, whatever it's called, and that's gonna be terrible. But the Titanfall was really, really fun, but it's just like there wasn't much diversity in the game. It was sort of the same thing every single time you played it. It wasn't really any like variety into it. But I did play it, and I streamed it quite a bit on my channel for a couple days, and then excuse me, and I burped a layer, wolves, and like they didn't ever have a story mode either, and that was one of the biggest complaints people had was there was no story mode, and the very first thing they introduced for Titanfall 2 is a story mode, which looks very promising. They're giving the Titans emotions.
Yeah, it actually like I even want to play it, even though I never really play first-person shooters necessarily, unless I'm just playing with friends. But like I actually want to play the story of the Titanfall because it just looks somewhat interesting.
True. Now, on to definitely one of the best first-person shooter series out there, way better than Call of Duty in my opinion. Like Battlefield 1, dude. That first trailer they came out for before E3, oh my gosh, beautiful. Like, oh, praise Lord. And then, dude, we watched the freaking, it's not the Hindenburg, but we watched a Hindenburg type plane collapse and like crash and be set afire. It was so beautiful.
Like the graphics of it, I mean, Jesus.
And the fact it's actually like being grounded in wars we've had before and not going into the future. Like Battlefield, that's why I love you. You've never once become retarded like Call of Duty and go into the future.
Like, honestly, I don't know if there would be any better war to do besides World War One.
Well, let's be honest, World War One wasn't that great though. Like it was, for those of you who don't know, B Dubin's FTW on YouTube has a video out there about why it would be very hard to do World War One, and that's because it was very hard conditions. A lot of the time they're just sitting in trenches, but there were sides to it where they weren't sitting in trenches and they were actually fighting, which is probably what they're going to focus on more, because sitting in a trench and contracting diseases isn't really that fun for a video game premise.
Well, I mean, even with that, just seeing how so far what it looks like, it's just going to be so I don't know what to say.
It's just like right before like, so World War II is a big war we've had like 80 million games on because it's such a like world-renowned war. Iconic. Obviously, yes, iconic is the word I'm looking for, and like that was revolutionary in the times for like battle and weaponry, is like when all these huge things started coming into play. And right before that was like World War One, where planes were first starting to get introduced, but they really didn't have that much on them. It was just like, not as good as they were in World War II and stuff like that, but
yeah.
And then they're trenching and everything. They don't do trenches now and all that stuff. I don't know. It's a completely different type of war from World War I to World War II.
Okay, and as I was watching the EA conference live, I was really kind of annoyed with. I mean, granted, yes, I do play some sport video games, but I was just they were focusing almost a little too much on FIFA and Madden, in my opinion, when they have great games coming out like Battlefield,
Well, they
Titanfall.
did announce that Battlefield's getting 64 player multiplayer, which is like the largest they've ever had. I don't even know what the previous one was, but it's nowhere near 64, dude. Like, that's like an actual freaking battle. And then you could do, I don't know, that's just freaking amazing though, dude. Like, see how far we've come from 4v4 matches in like Call of Duty 3 to 32v32 matches in Battlefield 1.
Yeah, but when EA was just sticking to, just kept going back to sports games, FIFA and Madden, I did not care about the Madden part at all. They didn't say anything really special about Madden 17, which is coming out. However, when they were talking about FIFA, they introduced a almost kind of like story type mode, where they follow one specific player and you kind of like bring them up. It's almost like a Be a Pro, but
Yeah, it's like what they used to. It's what they did with Fight Night Champion, where you have your own boxer in Fight Night Champion, and you got to bring him up to the top and all that stuff. But it's essentially they're working from the ground up because one thing that everybody's always complained about for FIFA and all those other games is that there's been no like story mode. There's been no, it's just like hey, play. Essentially, there's been no like nothing to really engage you other than the game, like of playing soccer, or playing hockey, or football, or whatever. So they're trying to like answer for that, and I think it looks like it's gonna be really well done. Honestly,
I do too.
I love the FIFA
Especially
games. So
also if they focus on stuff that's not in the matches or in the games, like if you focus on like practicing different things that happen outside of just playing games and training, you know, I think that would also really drive the game
well,
forward.
FIFA's always, at least with the last game they made, FIFA 16, they did a before every match, after every match, or whatever. There's even a section where you could practice. They had all those like little mini games you can set up for, like trying to hit it into each corner, hit the crossbar, and do like passing instructions, drills, and stuff. Whereas NHL's never done that. Although they do have like, I love the NHL games. I'm not gonna bash them.
Yeah. Mass Effect.
You know, I personally never played any. Well, I played 2 of the Mass Effect games. I didn't complete them, but they never really were like. I don't know. I just didn't really have enough time to play it because it was when I was younger. And now, after seeing the trailer for Andromeda, it looks flippin' amazing, dude.
Yeah. I don't think I have not played a game where you go where it's been outside of Earth necessarily, besides like Star Wars Battlefront. I mean, just a
Halo.
different type of game like that. I think would be interesting and something that I would like to try
Because you haven't
eventually.
played Halo, have you? Because
No, I have not.
Halo's not on Earth at all. And then yeah, and then there's also the previous Mass Effect games. But from the looks of it, it doesn't really look like it's gonna have anything to do with the previous ones, which could be good for new players like yourself or younger people or me who didn't even finish the other games. But yeah, on to more EA is why why do you think they didn't show any NHL? You think it's just not ready? What's going on?
Well, it should be ready. It's coming out in September. I think what they're probably going to be doing, because all that they've done this in the past few years is show a really revealed NHL 17 at the NHL Awards in Las Vegas whenever they have those. I think this year it is um, maybe this upcoming Saturday, June 25th, or maybe this Sunday at June 26th.
It's got to be soon though, because the trashy Penguins just won.
Yeah, so
Penguins. Fuck you, Crosby.
they'll reveal the cover art or the cover player, either
Mhm.
my Vladimir Tarasenko or Joe Pavelski, who should meh. But so they'll reveal that, and then I think that they'll probably reveal at least a cinematic type trailer, maybe a couple of gameplay trailers. There are a couple other videos out by other people that have already either played the game or have helped develop it. So there's a couple of stuff out, but it was not at all at E3, which was pretty disappointing for me.
No, I think they focus more on the story mode for FIFA and Battlefield 1 because those two probably are going to have the most hype out of what they currently are doing. other than their little like independent game thing they did. I can't remember what it was. Oh, Fee. That's what it was. It was Fee. It wasn't like the FE game was sort of like their comeback because Unraveled was so good that they're like, hey, let's do Fee. But so now EA overall, I thought they just had like it was an EA press conference is what it always is. There's nothing really like super exciting about it. I mean, other than the Battlefield 64 stuff, like that was probably the highlight of their entire thing was the Battlefield. But
and also being able to watch the gameplay of Battlefield 1 was pretty awesome. And then I was just kind of like, why is Snoop Dogg there? Why is Zac Efron, Jamie Foxx?
That's what EA always does, though.
Why are those guys there?
They just bring in random celebrities and then just like,
and
why?
Then all of a sudden, I'm watching one of my favorite YouTubers, Muselk. You should go check him out. He's a really good Overwatch TF2 player, and he's really good at video games in general, and he's pretty funny. He made a little video because he got to record his session there because he was one of those people that was playing the game. And it's funny seeing the kill feed and see you killed Zac Efron, you killed Snoop Dogg, and Wiz Khalifa's on his team. It's like, that is just bizarre.
It's like we need people to pay attention to Battlefield because Call of Duty's doing so great, which is not. But I'll get into that later.
Just
fuck Call of Duty.
Oh my god, that was probably my favorite moment was when I was just watching Muselk's video about it.
Or like Snoop Dogg blazed out of his mind trying to play Battlefield 1. Well, dude, he's got a shovel. Alright. But so now into Bethesda, which was last year. Bethesda had a great press conference. This year, it wasn't really anything like to be super excited about. Other than Quake Champions, I thought was pretty cool. Because the original Quake was great, like redefined first-person shooters and stuff like that. Well, not redefined like shooters in general. And then now they're bringing it back with Quake Champions, and it looks pretty good, relatively.
I don't have anything to really say about it. I watched the trailers for the games that they're releasing, and one of the things that we have highlighted that we're going to be talking about a little bit is Fallout 4 new DLC. It's just DLC. Why would you spend the time to mention that?
One of them is really cool. The Vault-Tec DLC I thought looked really interesting. The where it basically becomes like the Vault-Tec app they made, or the Fallout whatever the thing was called, where you can control your own vault and everything. It sort of ends up looking like that, where you can experiment on the people and everything. I thought that looked pretty interesting, but overall, it's just like I've never been a big fan of Fallout. I understand the appeal, but I've never been able to get into it, so that really didn't stand out to me. Probably stood out to some people that I know that are like obsessed with the game. They're probably like, hell yeah, dude, sweet. I just didn't really care about it. Just like Dishonored 2, I wasn't really excited for Dishonored 2. It looks like a good game. I thought the first one was good. It wasn't really something I'd play over again though. And then yeah.
I have the first game. I still haven't played it yet, so I might play it and then see if I like it enough to get Dishonored.
It's a good game. It's just, in my personal opinion, I beat it once and that was it. I'm not going to play it again. But then it goes into Skyrim Remastered, which they announced, which I was like, oh, hell yeah. And then I'm like, no one asked for this. I was like, why? Like, literally, like 2 years ago, you released the Elder Scrolls Online for 360 and the Xbox One or whatever, and then like you're continuing to update Elder Scrolls Online. Why are you doing remastered Skyrim? Why not just create another Elder Scrolls game? Because like, it's just no one wanted it. Like they want it now that they've shown it. Now that you've shown it, people are like, hell yeah, I want this. But prior to that, I don't think anybody asked for a Skyrim remastered. It's just them trying to get us. It's just
I haven't played Skyrim.
Well, I love Skyrim. Still. It was a great game, but like I think it's just them trying to find a way to get us to buy a product they've already made, which really annoys me, because there's games that we actually have asked for, like Arkham Remastered, which when they do remaster it, it looks literally like shit. That's probably one of the worst remasters I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks horrible, and it's because Rocksteady decided to outsource the remaster, which I'll get more into later on because we're going to talk about Rocksteady, but. Then Skyrim goes or Elder Scrolls goes, Bethesda goes and remasters Skyrim, which we didn't even ask for, and it looks freaking beautiful. It's like a perfect remaster. It looks amazing, and it's like, the quality of remasters here is what's really, really bugging me out. Especially when we want one and it looks like shit, and we don't want one and it looks fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Prey?
No.
Yeah, I didn't play Prey either, but the trailer for Prey looked pretty awesome, in my personal opinion. I thought that was the graphics looked freaking amazing, and story-wise, I don't know, it delved into a little bit of the story. But overall, I never even played Prey, so
neither have
looked decent. But now on to the Xbox, which is our personal faves. Well, your fave is a PC, but my fave is
PC Master Race.
Xbox, yeah. And I personally love the Xbox One, and the introduction of the Xbox One S at first annoyed me because they just released the Xbox One 3 years ago, and now they're just completely... It's sort of like what iPhone does every single year. They just They remake the same iPhone, and they just add a little extra things, and then 2 years later they give you a bigger one or a smaller one. And it annoyed me at first, but thinking about it, I'm like, this is actually pretty great. They're not selling it at $500 or $700 like they used to, or however much it was, the outlandish price. It's $300, and it looks pretty great though, dude. 4K gaming, HDR graphics, and then it's got
power supply inside.
Inside, so you don't have like 13 cords hanging out of your Xbox.
Smaller form factor.
And then, and it's got a new controller too.
Yeah, I didn't get a really good look at the new controllers, besides the fact that they're obviously really more customizable with the new Xbox Design Lab.
Yeah.
I think that's something really good that they're putting out. It's letting Xbox players really customize their own personal stuff.
Yeah, and it said
get it the way that they want to.
There's 8 million different ways you can create a controller, because what they're doing. So the whole revamp of the controllers has got upgraded Bluetooth. It's got a bunch of other stuff to upgrade with it too. But then the back of the controller has like a special grip pads on it. It's not the Elite. It's like a step up from the original Xbox One controller, but still anywhere as insanely awesome as the Elite is. But overall, like, you can get etching into the bottom of the controller over underneath the D-pad and the right stick, and then like just say your gamer tag or whatever you wanted on there, and then you can upgrade each button individually, each stick, the D-pad, every pause button, the triggers, all of it, and you can just make it whatever color you want. And I think that in itself is just friggin' beautiful and crazy awesome, and Sony ain't doing anything like that, so...
Well, it's something that I believe that as we keep going forward and people are wanting more be more individualized, companies like Xbox and Sony will be able to really cater to what people want with being able to customize. Because, I mean, coming from PC Master Race, everything that you do with your PC is customized to what you want. I mean, sure, there's, like, you can't necessarily choose whatever you want on the mouse, but you can choose a mouse that you really want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas an Xbox, you have the Xbox controllers.
Which, prior to this, there's only two, which the Elite, which was like $100, which is really expensive.
Outlandish.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive. But you also think about it, the controllers in general are expensive, because the normal controller is $60. And then you get the Elite, which has all the upgraded stuff on the side. It's got the ability to adjust the triggers and change essentially mod the crap out of your controller, and they just add another $40 to it, which, while that is a really, really high price and is stupid, but compared to what the original one has cost, it kind of makes sense to go up $40, but they should have dropped the prices anyways, because it shouldn't be a $60 controller.
Exactly.
Especially when people remake them in their own like house for like $30. But
so I am actually pretty excited about the next thing that they kind of mentioned with being able to, if you buy a digital copy of an Xbox game, Xbox Play Anywhere.
Play Anywhere games, yes.
If you buy it, let's say digitally on your Xbox, and you have Windows 10 on your computer, you can play it on your computer. Sure, you can't be on your Xbox and play it at the same time, but it's just being able to do that. Really, like, for people like me that I'll be at school starting in August, and I'll have my Xbox up there with me. If I get a game that's Play Anywhere, if I come home for the weekend, I don't have to bring my Xbox back to come back and play the game. I can just bring a controller, a USB cord, plug it in, and I can start playing. Or even if they allow for keyboard controls, I can just play it like that.
And it'll go up from... It is, because it's the PC version of the game you get. So you get...
Yes.
You also get whatever... If it has an app version too, because apparently some of them are going to be showing up on iPads too or whatever in a certain version. I don't know, it's really weird. But it gives you...
I don't think it would be iPads because, Apple versus Microsoft.
Well, yeah, that pad that
probably
Microsoft
a Samsung,
has. The Note tablet. I don't know what it is. It's whatever Microsoft has.
Microsoft Surface.
Surface Pro. That's what it is, yeah. And, but, so, like, you're able to pass it back and forth essentially, but then you can go from the normal Xbox graphics that you can't adjust at all on your PC and upgrade it to 4K graphics, which is really cool that they're letting you do that. And then along with that, though, this Play Anywhere, they're coming with cross compatibility with nearly all of their future games that have multiplayer, obviously. And this, they said it would all depend on if the producer of the game wanted it. So essentially, like, it's not going to happen with PlayStation, probably not for a while, because PlayStation's, nah, they're not going to want to do it. But as of now, we already have Rocket League, and then Rocket League is cross-compatibility right now. I was just playing with my friend. It works out great. The only problem I have is you can't invite them. You have to create a private match. And then,
exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have to give them a password, and they can join you.
Yeah, they're going to have to fix that soon.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I can understand how they're going to be able to do it with Microsoft via Windows 10 and Xbox. The problem will be dealing with Sony and getting Sony and Microsoft to work hand in hand on that, and you know, just being able to get all those games. Because I mean, they're not going to be. They didn't explain it in a way that, you know, it'll be like Steam. It'll go into like your Steam library. I think it's going to be via like the Xbox app on your computer that you can.
For the games or for cross compatibility?
For the games.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do. But for cross compatibility, they're using Steam specifically. But what they're going to have to do, though, if for you to be able to invite, would be to get the Steam entire like registry of users into the Xbox or vice versa, and be able to invite them from there, which will take a lot of work. And one problem with it...
Super servers.
Yeah, one problem with Sony doing it, though, is like for both Xbox and Sony, you have those little 13-year-old kids who are just sitting there going, fuck you, Sony, fuck you, Xbox Master Race, you know, that, you know, don't realize they're kind of the same console, except in my personal opinion, Xbox is destroying right now. And that they're just like... It's going to damage the rep for both companies if you think about it, because the amount of little kids that play, they're going to flip the fuck out when they find out that they're partnering with Xbox or partnering with PlayStation. Yeah. It's like, grow up, children.
Yeah, it's something that if the companies are willing to, you know, settle, it would be really good for the community, for the gaming community in general, because, you know, it's just... You would only have to buy one console now. You don't have to buy PlayStation.
Well, you'd buy it based off of the games you want, though, because as we'll find out, Xbox and Sony are both coming up with some pretty great exclusives, and that's going to be a reason why you're going to be game. And that's actually why I'm going to want to buy a PS4 sometime soon. It's because of the exclusives that are coming out that we'll talk about later. But that's going to take, because like right now what's really deciding which Xbox or whether you get Xbox or PlayStation is based on what your friends have, and in specific areas like in Washington where I'm at, everybody has an Xbox, so everybody gets that Xbox because they want to play with their friends. In California, a lot of people I know have PlayStations because that's just what they have, because their friends have PlayStations. So until we get the cross compatibility, they're just basically gonna get what their friends have, unless you're alone, which
kind of like sucks. Me, and then you get a computer.
Yeah, I got you to get an Xbox. Shut up. All right. But another thing they're doing is clubs, so Xbox clubs, and then Xbox like little game challenge, community challenge things, group events.
I didn't really get to see this. So can you explain
it was kind of hard to explain. It's essentially like you can go onto the Xbox. It's kind of like the calendar a little bit, where they have all the events set up. Like, hey, let's do a little like thingy, whatever. But you set up challenges with groups. And like you can make like a clan essentially, and then you set up challenges for each other, and then you have to try to beat those challenges. You can set it up for the community, be like, hey guys, can you do this? You probably can't. I could do it in 2 seconds. Stuff like that, which, you know, it looks interesting. I'm not going to do it because I don't like people, so I'm probably just going to stick to playing with myself and streaming on Twitch. That came out wrong. By myself and streaming on Twitch is what I meant to say.
I am not editing that.
Alright, you shouldn't.
I am not editing
But one thing I'm super pumped for is background music in your Xbox One. Yeah! So when you're playing Dead Rising 4, Assassin's Creed, Metro, I don't know, whatever the hell you're playing, Batman, you can just have 21 Pilots, Queen, Misfits, WWE
Disturbed,
whatever you want, playing in the background on your Xbox. And I'm really
church music.
You could play the Our Father song they sing, like Our Father who art in heaven. I know it because I've been
copyrighted. We do not own that.
I'm probably gonna get sued, and by Jesus, probably. I'm gonna get sued by the Lord. Which is really cool. One thing I really hope they do is like you can stream and have background music at the same time, because I'm really tired of, because I stream directly from my Xbox, and I'm really tired of like having to pull up Spotify or whatever on my computer. And then by the time my parents go to bed, I have to turn it off. It's like, it'd be great if it's just on the Xbox while I stream. Like, dude. I need to.
Yeah.
All right.
Dead Rising 4.
So you haven't played any of the Dead Risings, because as you said, you weren't big into video games till like this year, last year, or whatever it was. And I have.
You know,
I played the first Dead Rising the year it came out, which was really early and not a good game for a little kid to be playing. But it's really, like, so what I loved about the first 3 Dead Risings, Dead Rising 1, Dead Rising 2, and Off the Record, and then there was Dead Rising 3, which was the 4th game in the series, and Dead Rising 4 was the 5th game in the series.
What?
Yeah.
Figure out your numbering system, Dead Rising.
So, which is funny though, because because Kingdom Hearts does the same thing. They have Kingdom Hearts 1, then like 1.5, then 2, and then like 2.8. It's like, geez.
It's like,
oh god.
If it's not even that far enough to make a whole new number, why number it like 2.8?
Well, like with Kingdom Hearts though, it's because what they're doing is they're basically just giving you a movie. It's like all the cutscenes from the previous game. I don't know. Why don't you just watch the cutscenes on YouTube? Whatever. And yeah. So like with the first Dead Rising, the first Dead Rising was hilarious. It was a great game, really fun to play. Second Dead Rising was funny, not as funny as the first because you have Chuck, who wasn't really that funny of a dude. And then you get Dead Rising Off the Record, which is just straight up funny, and they have Uranus Zone, which is like, it's a space area, and then they have like an alien probe, and what you do, like the special attack with it, is like he'd like spin the zombie around, like shove it in its butt, and then it'd electrocute the zombie. It was funny. It was awesome. And then Dead Rising 3 came out. It wasn't funny at all. It was a really serious tone. While it was a good game, it just didn't feel like a Dead Rising game. It felt like just another like generic zombie game. But Dead Rising 4, that trailer, so beautiful. It looks so good. Frank is back. Frank, baby. Frank!
Yeah. I originally thought that Dead Rising was going to be kind of like a horror, zombie, hack and slash type game. And then all of a sudden I see this dude just selfieing with the zombie. He's like, Frank is back.
Frank is back,
Hashtag
bitch.
Frank is back.
No, that's Left 4 Dead you're thinking about. Left 4 Dead is the first-person hack and slash horror zombie game.
Oh yeah.
Play with 3 friends, and it's really really fun. I actually really enjoy Left 4 Dead, which is great. It's on backwards compatibility.
We're not talking about Left 4 Dead right now.
I am, so deal with it. All right.
That's not.
But that was still pretty good though.
Yeah.
Dead Rising 4 I'm playing for.
Honestly, I think Dead Rising 4 might be my first Dead Rising game that I get. Maybe.
Ooh, by the way, since we're game sharing, you can get Dead Rising 3 and play it right now. Yay! But yeah, it's a pretty great game. Oh no, Xbox is gonna delete our accounts. Alright. But yeah, now on to Forza.
Xbox
they introduced Forza Horizon 3, which I played Forza Motorsports 3, Forza Motorsports 4. I played a little bit of Horizon. Like, racing games aren't really my favorite, but these are probably the most well-done racing games because the only one I would ever play before that was Midnight Club, because that game was fun, especially when you're playing it on PC and crashing into, not PC, PSP, which was really fun. But yeah, Midnight Club, that was the only other game I played, but Forza is probably the most well-done, and then Horizon is probably their best, and Horizon 3 looks really promising, and it's introducing cross-platform play with PC for Forza Horizon 3.
Yeah, I mean, the cross-platform is just something, again, that will draw people like me that want to have the versatility of being able to play a game that's on your Xbox and on your PC at the same time. But personally, just looking at the game, I'm not really... I mean, the graphics...
Oh my god, it's beautiful.
Yeah. It's just, for me, I don't think that a racing game is kind of my suit. I don't like it. Back in the good old days when I was a wee little lad, I had a GameCube and had a NASCAR game.
NASCAR game on GameCube?
Oh my god.
The only thing I played on my GameCube was Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and then
That's weird.
Ultimate Spider-Man. Probably the best Spider-Man game ever created.
I never had that game.
It's the best Spider-Man game ever created. I played on my GameCube every single day, and I always forgot to save, so every single day I had to restart the entire game. Because I always forgot to save.
That probably wouldn't be a bad problem.
But I was like,
I probably get so good.
Really young, so I didn't care.
Speedrun
record holder for it. Yeah, and that was the first game that actually introduced the like legitimate web slinging, like so where you're not just shooting it in the air,
Yeah.
like you actually attach it to the walls.
I have this old. It's just called Spider-Man. It's not even have any.
Is it based off the movie?
No, this is back in 1999.
I was a one. Oh my god.
So there was the web slinging mechanic. When I was a little kid, I didn't even think anything of it. He was shooting webs straight up into the sky, like literally straight up, and he was still going. I'm just like, you're on rooftops. There's nothing above you right now.
I don't know. It was a little something else, but then I love how they went from Ultimate Spider-Man though, where like you had the dynamic web slinging that actually made sense, into like the next one, which wasn't Ultimate Spider-Man. It was based off of a movie. I can't remember which one it was called. I think it was based off the movie, but when he was just shooting it in the air and swinging around, which was really funny.
I think that might have been the Amazing Spider-Man, the game.
I know the second one had the dynamic webs.
The second one reintroduced the dynamic.
Okay, that might have been the first one. I don't remember. Yeah. All right. But now back to the game we were talking
Gears
about. Forza, great game. Yeah, beautiful graphics. Gears of War 4.
I said Gears of War 4.
It's a play anywhere game, and it's going to also be a cross-compatibility game. And I personally played the other Gears of Wars, but I never beat them because they just weren't that fun to me. I mean, I get it. It's fun. I can understand the appeal, but like I just didn't have fun playing it. Mainly because I don't really ever have fun playing games by myself anyways, unless they're like super story driven, and that wasn't really a super story driven game in my opinion.
Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah, that was really story driven. And also, fuck you, Rocksteady.
Arkham City.
And Origins is pretty great too. Stop, okay. Gears of War 4. It looks great. Beautiful game. Looks really beautiful. And then they introduced Dom again. I think that's who it was. I don't remember the guy's name, but he comes in with a beard. Really, you'll see his photo in here somewhere. That's what's going to be in the montage. And it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, I'm doing that thing, aren't
I got the photos. Do you have anything to say about Gears of War 4? You didn't play any of the other ones. I played them. I thought they were really fun at first.
It seems like it's going to be a heavily story-driven type game. It's going to be a kid kind of following in the footsteps of his father, at least from the cinematic trailer that I saw. And yeah, it seems pretty good. It seems like it would be kind of a tearjerker a little bit, but you know,
especially if you played the previous games.
Yeah.
Which in Gears of War 3 there was a huge death scene that was actually very hard for even me to watch because I love the character who died, which I'm not going to say right now because I don't remember his name. But
for somebody like me who's never played any of the games before, it's going to be kind of, I don't think we'll be able to pick it up and play it right then and there. We'd have to play the first 3 in order to get everything.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then from here we have ReCore, which was actually first teased last year at E3 2015. And last year I thought it looked really stupid. I didn't think it was going to be a good game. But this year with the new ReCore trailer, it looked pretty decent. I thought it looks like it's going to be pretty fun, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. I mean, the story of it doesn't seem really clear to me, besides you're dealing with a bunch of different robots and stuff.
Yeah, they haven't revealed any story from what I can tell. I think it's just been all like cinematics, nothing really.
Either cinematics or a little bit of gameplay. I mean, it looked like a little bit of gameplay where they were running and shooting something. But I mean, just kind of like the mechanics of it look pretty interesting. It looks something that'd be interesting.
Choosing between which mechanical dudes you want, all that jazz.
Yeah, and
all the variety of them too is what really gets me too. Because it's not just like simple, like 3 things. It's like, dude, you get a bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Scalebound. Another Xbox exclusive, which I personally don't think looks good at all. I mean, I think the graphics look good, but the gameplay just looks so generic, like every other game that has swordplay and bow and arrows, and just it looks, it just looks really bad in my opinion.
I kind of agree. I don't want to agree because we agree on almost everything, but you know, it just looks bland.
It looks like every other Middle Earth type fighting game, except he's got beats.
Yeah.
And he can ride a dragon, like, oh yeah.
I mean, if it's a story mode where you have friends, which is seeming like it might be, you know, it seems like it could be interesting.
Could be like how Dark Souls is interesting when you play it with your friends, but if you play it by yourself, you hate life and you want to die.
Because you die all the time.
Yes, I hate Dark Souls so much.
Rest in peace.
Oh my god.
I love the game, but I suck at it.
Oh god. Okay. Now, Scalebound, we both don't like that, but Tekken, which, you know, me not being a Tekken native, I initially thought it was Street Fighter. Woo! Tekken 7, Xbox exclusive. What is your opinion on it, man?
Well, the cinematic looked really good, and then all of a sudden they jumped into actual gameplay. I'm like, that does not look anything like what they were teasing at the very beginning of this trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, if the graphics held up to the cinematic or close to the cinematic, I would have, liked it a little bit more. But I mean, just the fact that it literally looks like Street Fighter, it kind of just
Street Fighter and Tekken have always kind of looked really, really similar. But same with Mortal Kombat, kind of until recently, because Mortal Kombat started getting cray-cray, and it's always been crazy, but they've all kind of played the same way. And they've always played exactly the same. Same with Injustice. Like, I've never really been a fan of those kind of fighting games, but Injustice I really love. I can't wait for the second one, which was teased beforehand, which isn't actually on our list, but Injustice 2 was teased before E3 and looks freaking beautiful, and they're adding a lot more characters. There's like Atrocitus or whatever, the father of the Red Lanterns, everything in there. Supergirl.
Hype train.
Injustice 2. But I've just never really been a big fan, except for Injustice and Mortal Kombat X. But Tekken 7 does look pretty cool. I'm not going to get it. I'll probably watch people stream it. Not going to get it, though.
I mean, those games, like Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Nintendo, hey, we're talking about you. Get over it. Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat.
Well, Super Smash Bros. Is completely different from all of these other games, though.
No. If you think about it, if you're doing a one-on-one, granted, it's not... The arena is a lot more scaled open, but, just how frame perfect those fights have to be and how intense those fights are whenever you're seeing professional players play it. Like, those games are really good if you're good at video games and you can play those games and you can do frame perfect blocks and hits and stuff. Those are really awesome to watch. I've literally spent a couple of hours one day just zombied in my chair watching a Street Fighter championship.
I'm really bad at those games, especially Super Smash Bros. But
oh god,
now to a game I actually
we
really...
should never stream them.
Oh, never streaming it. I tried to stream Killer Instinct, dude, and that was... Which, by the way, they're doing Killer Instinct 2. Cool, yeah, or 3, whatever it is, I don't know. But I tried to stream that, and oh my god, I died, over and over again. I just said, I was like, good, I'm done, I'm not playing anymore, I just turned my Xbox off.
That's me every game that I stream. What are you talking about?
I'm terrible at those games. But on the other side of fighting games, I'm really good at the Batman fighting games and the Spider-Man fighting games, like games that aren't side-scrollers and don't require me to go up, up, down, left, right, X, Y, B, A. Which, no, I don't want to learn those. But into a game I'm actually really fucking excited for, and I really want to get the best freaking... Okay, in my personal opinion, the best exclusive Xbox showed. We Happy Few. Ooh.
The themes of this game from the trailer just kind of blew my mind.
When he's beating the piñata, just beat the piñata, bro. It's cool. And he just goes to beat the pinata, and then he hits it again, and then blood shows all over. No, you just beat the crap out of a rat. And there's a photo that I believe is going to be in a slideshow that I showed that shows, because they're happy pills or whatever it's called. I think it's called the happy pills. And
joy
pills. You're off your joy. Yeah, you're off your joy. Joy pills. There's a photo of people playing on a street and a cop walking by because they're on their joy pills, and they don't notice that there's a dude dead in the middle of the street with blood covering him and all over the street, and they're just sitting there like, hey, nothing's happening because of joy. That it looks insane.
The concept of it is just blowing my mind.
And what's great,
I didn't watch the trailer until today, which is June 20th, and I'm kind of behind on everything. But just watching that trailer, I was already on Skype with Aaron here, and he was kind of doing his own thing, and then all of a sudden, I'm just straight staring at my other screen right now and just entranced by this trailer, because there has not been a trailer like that besides something that I'm already invested in before the trailers come out, that I just watched that intensely.
And one thing, so this is going to be for PC and Xbox. It's an exclusive. And what they're doing is they have the game preview program with Xbox that they're doing, which is pretty great. And I think it's for, it's for everybody. And they're releasing this in game preview July, sometime. 24th, July 24th, you get it for game preview if you have Xbox or PC, and then it comes out in October, I think, sometime around then. But we get it really early, and then you get, what's great about game preview, for those of you who don't know, is like you get the game early while it's still in development. They did this with Layers of Fear, which I thought was a great game.
Ark Survival Evolved.
Ark Survival Evolved, and as you're playing it, it gets updated over and over again. So the sad part is, if it's a game like Ark, the moment it gets updated, all of your crap gets reset. You don't have anything again.
No,
they fixed it?
Not in Ark. They didn't. They only did that for a few, like the very first few months, or the first like month or two, and then they fixed that little bug. And every time that they do an update, it just updates the servers necessarily. It doesn't wipe the servers. It's not a wipe and update.
All right. So then so they do that, and then they add other details to the story. So the one sad part, like the one great thing about that is you get to see how it's being made, So like what they do with Layers of Fear is you'd play it, and then it'd be like, thanks for playing Layers of Fear, come back later and we'll have more. And then you play it again, and then there's more, and then after every update you get more and more content. Which, while that's really awesome, you get to see how it's being made, at the same time it can hinder your experience of the game, because you're just like stopping in the middle of it and have to wait for another update, and then you play and then wait. So I'm really excited to play it in preview, but I'm hoping that it's not...
It's like watching Game of Thrones week to week.
Yeah, I'm behind.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a huge battle yesterday, and someone died.
Oh my god.
I'm guessing it was Ramsey. Does Ramsey die?
I am not telling you.
I love Ramsey. Why? I was so happy when Joffrey died, and then they introduced Ramsey, and he's torturing Theon, and I'm so happy because I hate Theon, and then now he rapes Sansa, and I'm like, no, why'd you do that? I still love you, though. It's like, I love Ramsey.
What episode are you?
We'll talk about that after.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
It's right after you kill the boy. It's the episode
so, We Happy Few.
I made it my desktop background, dude. I'm so freaking pumped for that game. Yeah, it's my desktop background. They have some pretty cool photos in there. One of them, my desktop background is actually in the slideshow we're doing. But yeah, so overall impressions on Xbox is I think they destroyed their press conference, and personally, in my opinion, it was the best conference of all of E3, except I didn't watch Nintendo. Probably should have, except it didn't get as okay. But yeah, I thought it was the best one of all of E3 because not only do they have they had some stupid games, like the whole Minecraft segment. I thought was really stupid. I don't know if you watched it, but Minecraft segment was just boring, and it was just like, oh my god, it dragged on for way too long. But they were able to bring it back up with the next games they introduced. But they started it off really good, introducing the Xbox One S, and then they ended it talking about the Xbox One S, We Happy Few, and all this stuff. And I thought it just overall was done really, really well. While they didn't have the best games, PlayStation had the best games, in my opinion. I think their conference overall was better. PlayStation. Oh, let's talk about PlayStation, Craig.
Hey, no, real quick about Xbox. So, are you going to pick up Xbox One?
Not right away, no.
You might wait like a little bit.
Yeah, I'll wait.
PS4
I'm going to get a PS4 first, because what's great about the Xbox One S and the Xbox Project Scorpio, which they didn't really reveal that much information on. That's the one come out in 2017, at the end of 2017, I think is what they said. But is all games that are future released for Xbox will be playable on the One S, and the Scorpio, and literally the only difference will be graphics. So it's basically
if you're like me and
all you care about is graphics,
really are obsessed over graphics for no reason, go ahead and get the Xbox One Scorpio or whatever.
Xbox One S, which is the Slim, or you can wait and get Project Scorpio when that comes out. But I wouldn't, because we know nothing about it, so just get the One S, which I'm going to get after I get a PlayStation 4.
So, reasons why we're getting a PlayStation 4.
Oh my god, are these games. And let me say something real quick. For the reason why, for you PlayStation obsessors over there, we're going to be commenting, like, you guys suck because you only have Xbox. I did have PlayStation before. I had a PlayStation 3, and I was royally screwed over with my PlayStation 3, which caused me to switch over to Xbox, and I have not regretted it once. And the situation was, I had a PlayStation 3, and it was a couple of days before my warranty was up, and the disc stopped spinning. You know, which happened to everyone's PlayStation 3 that had first or second generation. So I called them, and I called them 2 days later, which was the day my warranty ran out. And I called them, and they're like, well, how's your warranty? And I'm like, oh, it ended like today. And they're like, oh, we can't fix it, then it's going to cost you $200. And I was like, are you kidding me? And then like I pulled up all this stuff saying like, dude, this has happened to everybody. Why are you making me pay? And then it was just a whole mess. And I was like, you know, fuck you, Sony. And I switched to Xbox. Haven't regretted it. Now I want a PlayStation 4. But I hate PlayStation 4. I think it's a really bad console. But I want it for these games we're about to talk about. Craig, God of War.
Spider-Man PS4. Oh,
God of War.
We'll talk about God of War first. I'm so excited.
Oh my god.
So, Kratos is a dad. That's a thing.
And like those original God of War games, I thought were great, but the camera was fixed, which was my main problem. So you could never move the camera. So it sort of became like a side scroller because you could never explore. It wasn't open world. You couldn't move the camera. But this one is super open world. It's third person. It looks beautiful. Like, dude.
It honestly, just like from the gameplay part of it, it looked kind of almost Arkham Knight-y or Batman Arkham feel.
What?
No, just how you can, move around.
I don't know about that. I don't know, Craig. I just called it my Arkham game.
Well, besides no forced Batmobile.
Well, yeah, the combat doesn't even look similar. I don't really know what you mean by how...
The combat's completely different.
I thought all of it was... That didn't remind me even remotely of Arkham. I don't know what you're talking about. But, aside from that, it looks and sounds so real that the part where they had the deer, and when he shot the deer, the noises the deer was making, the way it looked, that was kind of hard for me to watch, because it sounded like I was actually... and looked like I was actually watching a deer cower for its life, and I love animals. And that was hard for me to watch. Because I hate humans. Oh god.
And now you're asking how we're going to dig this podcast out of this hole.
Here They Lie is how we're going to do it. A horror game that they're introducing for us. Which, graphics, looks like a very, very dark game. Like, there's almost no light in any of the screenshots you're going to see. It's really, really dark. And, like, literally, shadows, darkness, and then you see the trailer, and the trailer's extremely confusing. What is going on in the trailer?
I have no idea. I mean, personally, I don't get horror games. I'm a scaredy cat. I'm gonna admit it.
Same.
Right here, right now. I will poop my pants every time that I play. Even when I play Alan Wake, I poop my pants.
Dude, Alan Wake's not even scary. It's my favorite game of all time. Quantum Break coming in at second.
It's one of those. It's just so suspenseful.
It is, and it's so, like, the best part, the thing that worked really well with Alan Wake was because it wasn't about, like, graphics looking so beautiful and, like, oh, look at all the shadows and everything. It was the fact that it was, like, it's not about what you can see, it's about what you can't see. So when they made it, they would screw around with you. It's what Resident Evil 7 is doing, it's what Outlast did, it's what all these horror games are doing. It's, what you can't see is what messes with you, because they'll just have things move around in the background or on your peripherals. And everything like that. It was just done really, really well. And Here They Lie, you don't really see any gameplay or anything, just like a really weird, short, confusing trailer, which was pretty creepy. So I'm hoping to find out more about it. I mean, I'm interested. That was a pretty interesting trailer. But
how about this? If
it's more like a TV spot.
If enough people either retweet a tweet that I'll put out on the Heroic Reality Twitter or my Kangar Twitter, I will buy the game and play it, live stream and record, and put it up on YouTube.
I'm going to be.
My pants for everybody.
I'm going to be, so. Yeah. You guys don't have to like anything. I'll do it for you anyways, because I care more about you guys. Alright, now into Spider-Man PS4, which Mr. Spider-Man over here, you should give a little story.
I'm so happy about this game. I mean, sure, it's a very unconventional spider suit with a white logo
Still
on the
looks
front and
awesome.
Back. It really does. It really.
Dude, the eyes. Did you see the eyes?
Dude, yeah.
It's got the.
Okay.
Oh.
What was the game studio?
Insomniac.
Why am I blanking right now?
The reason they made it so good is because they were never sleeping. But all right.
Yeah, that's why
I
the
stole
eyes
that joke from someone on Twitter.
Okay.
All right.
So, it looks so good. I could tell that some of it seemed like gameplay and some of it was obviously cinematics. But the gameplay and cinematics, the graphics in it didn't look any different to me.
And the graphics are already general. And one thing I freaking loved about the gameplay was when he goes inside the restaurant, like the cafe or whatever, which is really cool because now you can just enter random buildings seamlessly and not have to worry about loading screens, which I thought was really awesome. But when he's running on the tables, and like you watch the tables move from underneath his feet, like they flip over.
Yeah,
like
just the physics that they put into everything has just been insane.
It's like any other Spider-Man game, they would have just stayed perfectly still and you can't move the tables, but he steps on it and they just go like flying and everything off of it just moves and then he breaks through the window.
Physics are a thing now in Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
Thank God.
I love it.
So you played the Amazing Spider-Man 2 video game,
Yes,
right?
I own it. Regretfully.
Yeah. So do I.
It's good. It's
not a bad game.
One thing that truly annoyed me about it though was like it was really fun at first, it was fun at the end, but my main problem with it is like the whole security defenses, because even after you beat the game, all of the security defenses are there, and if you don't like save people's lives or whatever, do side missions that stop the security, then they end up showing up more and more, and then it's like impossible to just go and like web swing through the city because you have to dodge all these people trying to kill you, even though you just saved.
I doubt this game will do something stupid like that.
I hope
but
not. It's
I think that I think there will be at least a couple of things that'll make you want to do all the side missions instead of.
I just don't want them to be stupid little side missions like, hey, go save these people from being beat up.
It's the same thing over and over.
Yeah, it's the same side mission over and over again. All of the fire ones, like where you jump on the helicopter.
The fire ones were BS.
Yeah, all of them were stupid. They were just the same thing. Like the story mode was where it was fun, and the side missions were boring, and the only reason you did them was so that your like statewide security level didn't go up or whatever. Yeah.
I know you. I don't know if you actually paid so close to the trailer as I did, because I am a stupid Spider-Man fan that is way too obsessed. For
I
some
agree
reason.
with the stupid part. All right.
Hey, but the villain I am thinking is going to be why can't I think? Mr. Negative.
I have no idea who that is.
He is a new-ish villain to Spider-Man. Starting in probably around 2004. It was right after the original comics of Civil War.
Okay.
It happened. So I doubt that this game is going to go hand in hand with Spider-Man Homecoming movie coming out next year.
Most likely not, because this game has been being made for a long time.
Yeah.
It was announced a while ago, like a little rumor, like, oh guys, we got an email saying Insomniac Studios is working on Spider-Man. But that was about it. I think it started working when they announced that they're going to be doing a Sinister Six movie. Sony did, and then Sony's like, you know what, amazing. They're like, Andrew Garfield had one bad Spider-Man movie, which I actually really liked. Let's just cancel all of his future movies because that's what Sony does. They did it with Tobey Maguire. But yeah, I think that's when it was being announced, with like when they had all the rumor mill going around, and then now it's here and it looks amazing.
The eyes are legit.
It's like the eyes in Civil War. Yeah, like the camera lenses.
Like, honestly, so I saw a picture the other day. I give the credit to whoever came up with it because I have no clue who. The spider on either the chest and back are like the spiders from Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire's spider suits. Mm-hmm. And then the eyes are obviously Tom Holland's Spider-Man Civil War eyes. So it's playing tribute to all three of those amazing movie franchises that have been and hopefully will be. Knock on wood about the Marvel Spider-Man. But it just, so far, it looks so good. And they don't even have a name for it yet.
It's just Spider-Man PS4. I think that's all it's going to be. Well, they say PS4 because it's a PS4 exclusive, and I guarantee you that's the only reason why it's PS4 in there. So I'm pretty sure it's just going to be Spider-Man. I mean, there's no other name to call it. Like,
well, they could come up.
I guess it depends on the story.
They could come up with a story.
Web of Shadows.
Name. Oh my god, such a good game.
All right. Okay, enough Spider-Man. All right, now into Days Gone. I'm a DC guy. Obviously, I don't want to sit here talking about Spider-Man the entire time. I got a bunch of DC paraphernalia over there. All right.
Well, then go ahead and start talking about
Days Gone. What did you think about it, Craig? Pretty sure I have a different opinion than you.
I don't like it.
Never mind, I have the same opinion as you. I thought it looks like they went in the press conference room, they're like, okay, I got an idea for a game. Let's take The Last of Us, but make it not fun. Because it's exactly, it looks like The Last of Us, except the zombies aren't as insanely crazy, and it doesn't look like that much of a survival game. But it just looks stupid. The one thing I did think was cool was the amount of zombies they had, because there was a lot of zombies.
There were.
That was a lot of zombies, it's cool to actually have that many zombies for once, like just non-stop, like piling down at you. It was like World War Z, which is a great movie. They're like climbing on top of each other, climbing into the walls of Jerusalem and eating a bunch of Jews.
Or kind of like one of the moments in Zombieland.
Zombieland, yes, good movie. They're making a second one. I'm excited.
Are they?
Yes,
really?
And I'm really. It's supposedly the same cast. I think it's the same cast. I'm 100% sure, but they're making another Zombieland 2. They need to stop making sequels, but I'm really excited for Zombieland 2. Like, that's a movie I wanted to have a sequel. Yeah, it looks awesome. Zombieland 2. You haven't seen anything about it. It sounds awesome. Days Gone looks bad. I don't think it looks good at all. It doesn't look fun, even remotely. And like the dude can't even run. Did you see how he was running in the trailer? It was like he twisted his ankle a day ago, and he's got some pain in it, and he can't really step that much. It just looked really stupid. I don't know. But a great game that did look amazing was Detroit Become Human.
It really did. The graphics was what got me hooked to really paying attention to the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Such high quality. And then, like, I know roughly. I haven't played Quantum Break yet,
I love Quantum Break,
but
I streamed it 3 times.
From what I
Beat it 2
barely
times.
know about the game, because I want to play it this summer eventually, is that
It is so
you
good.
can make different choices and it'll lead to a different path, a different outcome.
Except in Quantum Break, though, the one thing I got to point out though is you can make different choices, but ultimately the end is always the same. Which is one thing they kept saying throughout the game was like, you can't change the future. So like it's a little like subplot like, hey, no matter what choices you're making, the game's gonna end exactly the same.
Whereas what it looks like in Detroit Becoming Human is you can literally choose whichever outcome, and then it really does affect how the
Yes,
game
and it
ends.
looks like they brought in LA Noir style detective stuff, which I thought was really cool. So you can continue on with the story, just like take a little quick look around and then go do stuff, or you can do a really thorough look around, get all the evidence you need, and then go do it, which is what they showed. In the trailer, they showed the initial one where he just walked around and I was like, alright, cool, I'm gonna go talk to the dude. And then it turned out, hey, that wasn't the best choice. And then they redo it again, and they show you all the different ways you can do it, how you can sacrifice yourself, you can help them, like you can lie, you can tell the truth, like a bunch of crazy stuff that was really, really cool.
I just hope, and I don't think that it will be, I just hope that this game isn't like just one scenario and you just have all these choices to make that one scenario. And
It won't. It looks like it has a way deeper story to it, though.
Yeah, it does.
It's like,
but I mean, I just have that kind of. They only showed that. They didn't show any other situation, and which Connor was going through, which was the android, and the fact that it's about androids and androids taking over the world.
ooh, completely disagree. Actually, what it looks like to me is like what's been going on in history. So like back in the 60s, the main thing for their generation was black rights, and then it was like women rights, and then for us it's gay rights. So like what for them is like robot rights or like android rights, you know, to be conceived as human, because as they show in the trailer, the dude, he has thoughts, he's processing things, he's getting emotions. That's why he's holding the girl up at gunpoint. He's like, this is ridiculous, I'm not just a robot, they can't just boss us around, I'm not just an android. It's like, that's what I got across from it. It wasn't androids taking over. What I got across was them trying to be human, to be accepted as one, as what we are.
I kind of see that now. I didn't see that at first, only because, you know, I just watched Horizon Zero Dawn. Hey, transition.
Hey, a game I thought looked bad. Yay.
I didn't think it looked too bad, honestly.
I thought the girl reminded me of Ygritte from Game of Thrones.
She really did. That was exactly what was going through my mind when I was watching it. But just being able to go around and see all these bad robots and
Which
stuff.
is really confusing. Like, if technology is able to get you that kind of robots and you're still using bow and arrows.
Yeah, you know, sometimes video games don't make sense.
It was... It just looked... It didn't look generic. It didn't look generic, but the gameplay just looked weird. It didn't look fun to me.
I don't know if it's still in development or what, but, I mean, it didn't look bad, but... I think the story probably has some promise to it. Batman Arkham VR. I know you're gonna want to rant about this.
Oh, it angers me so much.
But I think that any super franchise like Batman Arkham, if the game is able to go VR, you know, it's going to make a lot of money, and I can understand why Rocksteady and Sony are doing this for a financial and business standpoint. Because VR is becoming such a huge thing that people will shell out money for Batman Arkham VR.
I think VR is not even going to last that long, honestly. I think it's just going to be like a little burst in the pan or whatever, because it just doesn't... it doesn't appeal to me. It doesn't appeal to a lot of my friends that I've talked to. And one thing that really annoys me about Batman Arkham VR is because it's not even going to be the same thing as an Arkham game because it's virtual reality. So there's no way you can do the same stuff. But apparently it's going to be more story driven than what it previously was. But what really angers me is Rocksteady, how no one asked for Arkham VR. Guarantee you no one wanted it before they announced it. And what we did ask for was remastered, and we asked for more DLC for Arkham Knight, and instead of giving us more DLC for Arkham Knight, they give us a very poorly made remastered because they decided to outsource the project to some other company, just like they did for the PC port of Arkham, which I know you have really
Which
bad...
I am pissed about.
You have bad experiences with the PC port of Arkham because they outsourced that. Whoever they outsourced it to screwed it up. They outsourced the remastering of Arkham, and they screwed that up clearly. It looks terrible, especially Arkham City, and it just... They've screwed us over so much. They promised us stuff for Xbox and PC. Like, they said all those PlayStation exclusives are going to be timed exclusives. Nope, it's all permanent exclusives. We don't get any of it. And then they did all this crap for the Joker. They're like, yeah, we're going to do it. They promised us all this stuff, and they showed it to us, too. Like, hey, you're going to get this. You're going to get it. And then, like, you know what? No, we're not going to do it. I mean, we already have it all made, but nah, it's pointless. Even though people would pay good money just to get the stuff they've already promised us. But instead, they're going to go make Arkham VR. And make a really shitty remastered game. Oh my god. I went into a really big rant about this on stream, which isn't on there anymore, because it was a long time ago, but still. I'm mad.
So, Resident Evil 7? Not my game.
I am extremely excited for Resident Evil 7.
I mean, just watching the trailer, it just seemed... very typical horror type game to me. Then again, I had not played any of
the Resident Evils before that are nothing like that. Yeah, so really? The Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is essentially completely different from the past most of the Resident Evil games we've had, but it's going like, so initially it started off as a really big horror game, Resident Evil was, and then it started diving off like with 6 and 5 being really weird and odd, and then 7 now looks like it's going straight back to horror, and I watched the demo of it, which is exclusively to PlayStation, and it looks insane. And it's got an Outlast feel to it, except you're in a creepy house, and it's all tight quarters, and it's just like, ooh. I hate being scared, but I really want to play that game.
And, let's hear you praise
Death Stranding. Oh my god, Kojima. Kojima is God. Hideo Kojima. Mwah. Okay, so initially, we had the game PT come out, which is a playable trailer for the Silent Hills game. And you're playing it all, at the very end you find out you're Norman Reedus, and that's what's so cool about it. You're like, hey, Norman Reedus is in a Silent Hill game, and then they completely cancel it, and they screw you over, and then a bunch of stuff happens within that company, and then Hideo Kojima's like, screw you, and he leaves. And then he makes his own thing called Kojima Productions, and he works with Norman Reedus, no one knows what's going on, and then he shows up at the Sony press conference, and he's like, I'm back, and it was insane, and it made me so happy. For this trailer, oh my god, I don't know what's going on in it.
I don't think anybody knows. It looks good, though.
It looks amazing. The graphics are beautiful. Like, I thought it was like a legitimate... Because he's like, this is all happening in real time. So I'm like, hey, cool. So maybe... So they started showing it. And then it looks like, hey, dude, they just took a video camera and walked across a beach where there's a bunch of dead crabs. But then it gets to Norman Reedus, and you can tell it's a video game. But he still looks amazing. And him just, like, laying there. It was really confusing with the baby, too. But then I think I figured out some of it...
The baby disappears.
Yeah, it turns into oil. I think I figured out some of it, though, was it's oil. And then they look out, and there's just like a bunch of beached whales and dolphins and aquatic life, and I think there's probably an oil spill. Just like when you see the title Death Stranding, like it just like leaks, like oil's coming out.
What were with those 5 bodies just suspended in the air?
Those looked like aliens. Little pillars for aliens. I don't know. It's... what? That song choice, though, like, so... Oh, God. The song choice they had for Resident Evil 7, terrible. I hated that. That was a really bad song choice.
It kind of threw anybody that...
It threw it off, because it didn't make it scary at that point. It just made it child... It was just really weird. But then the song choice for Death Stranding was, like, perfect. And I actually bought the song because of how much I loved it, and it's on my phone now. Yeah, really? And I listened to it constantly along with the new 21 Pilots song. What's up? It's on the Suicide Squad album. For those of you who don't know, if you have Apple Music or Spotify, go to the Suicide Squad album. 21 Pilots' new song is on there. It's freaking great. But, yeah, Death Stranding, that song. Oh my god. And then it climaxes, like, throughout the entire trailer. It just, like, builds, and then they show you the sea, and then, like, the more music comes, and it's like, dude, that was probably the most well-done trailer of the entire thing. We Happy Few coming at second, in my opinion. But, oh my god. What'd you think of Death Stranding as a whole? Like, other than the fact that it's confusing as hell.
That it's confusing, and it's actually got me intrigued. Usually I do not like to be confused, and I will, like, if it seems confusing and I have no clue what's going on, I won't think about it. I won't look into it at all. This, I kind of want to.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue where it's gonna go. It could be a complete horror game. It could, be the happiest game on earth.
It's not going to be. Oh my god! Knowing Kojima and what he's done with Konami is just not going to be like that at all. It's going to be depressing. I can guarantee. It's probably going to be a little bit of scariness in there, maybe. But I just know it's going to be intense.
It's going to be a game that I might invest
Alright,
in.
I'm getting it once I get my PlayStation 4. That's the first game on my list for PS4 when I get it. It goes Death Stranding, Resident Evil, Spider-Man, Detroit, and then probably Here They Lie. I don't know. I'm not getting Days Gone. It doesn't look good. Not getting Arkham VR. Let's talk about the VR real quick, because that is just ridiculous. You see the price tag they put on that?
What was it,
$399, $400. Xbox comes out with an entirely new system, $299. PlayStation comes out with a headset that you need your current system to use, $400. Like, people got mad at Xbox for being $700 when it first came out, the Xbox One, and yet it was still worth it to pay $700. I think that was outlandish. I mean, I got mine for $300 because I waited, and it was just it was ridiculous. So $400 for a headset that only comes with 20 games, and each game is only an hour to begin with. They're going to be about an hour each game, essentially, because it's not really easy to make a really, really long VR game, and Batman Arkham VR is only rumored to be an hour anyways, and it's like, you're just paying $400 for 20 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. That's just, oh my god. But overall, Sony, I thought, did really well in the way of exclusives. I mean, they showed a lot of virtual reality exclusives, which we didn't talk about. Because
of reasons.
Yeah,
of
one of my main reasons is because I think virtual reality is pretty stupid, and you can sit 2 feet from your TV and it'll basically be virtual reality. But
well, I think we could do another video on this some other time, or we could talk about it some other time. But I believe that VR does have its uses, in especially EA. If they wanted to, they could make VR for sports games. And it could be a really good training tool for like kind of sense and awareness for different players, especially in like NHL, whatever.
That would
NHL
be
VR.
so like, I would probably puke though, to be honest, because like it's different. It's different actually playing hockey because you have your peripheral vision, you can move your head around. But playing it as a video game, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, oh my god. You don't have peripherals because you can't look left or right. Like you're gonna have to move your head the entire time. It's gonna be weird, and then you're gonna have to figure out how to like. That would just be really awkward. Same if they did FIFA. I think what it could work for would be a Call of Duty type game, or Battlefield, and they could do it like. There's a thing on Shark Tank one time where they had these little shoes that they put on and they were able to run and then like move around and like jump and stuff. It was pretty cool. But yeah, that's the only way I think I'd ever play VR. But because like some people, they came with Oculus Rifts if you bought a Samsung, and it's like, I don't know, my friend said it was cool but not something I'm going to constantly use. Cool. But yeah, I don't know. But PlayStation, I thought, did really well with exclusives, and that's about it. I don't think they beat Xbox. They beat Xbox in terms of games, but not in terms of quality of press conference, in my own opinion.
I did not watch either press conference.
You just watched the game highlights?
I just watched the games that we were going to be talking about here today, and I believe I'm more hyped for games for PlayStation, even though I don't have one. But, just like the hardware stuff that Xbox is coming out with is kind of exciting, and I do kind of look forward to it.
And in terms of another reason why I choose Xbox over PlayStation is because my brother has a PlayStation 4, I have an Xbox One. I played his PlayStation 4, and overall, I feel the Xbox is just designed completely better. Like, the whole dashboard they have set up is beautiful. It's really easy to work. The store is set up great. Everything is just perfect on it. Like, I love it.
Well, I know that, like, right when Xbox One came out, that, the store and the dashboard were different.
They were a lot different. It was good, but nowhere near as good as it is now.
They did updates, but the fact that Xbox and Microsoft has constantly been updating and making sure that Xbox is performing at its best.
Whereas Sony hasn't changed much with their dashboard or anything like that. Like it's all side scroller. It's like what's always been, and it's really, really annoying. Except I didn't like it. I don't. I think the feel of an Xbox controller is better, anyways. But that's just my personal opinion. But we're done with E3 now, and before we go, I wanted to point out some things. The Suicide Squad soundtrack was released. Well, a song on it was released. It was a 21 Pilots song, but they have the whole set list released for it, and there's some pretty good songs on there. But one thing that really annoyed me was they're doing Bohemian Rhapsody cover, and they're having Panic at the Disco do it. Why? I hate them.
Well, you're stupid for hating
I hate the
them.
dude's voice so much.
But Brandon Urie, oh my god, the guy can sing even though you don't like his voice.
It's a very distinct voice. Like, not in my opinion, it's not distinct in a good way, because like especially going from Freddie Mercury, in my opinion, the greatest performer and the greatest artist in the history of all of music, to Panic at the Disco doesn't really make sense. Adam Levine would have made more sense, and even then I would have been even angry. I would have been angry.
No.
That would make more sense.
God.
But anyways, aside from that, one more thing is CW released their 2016 fall premieres, and I'm going to go ahead and read off some dates here. So for The Flash, we have it Tuesdays, as it always is. You get Arrow Wednesdays, and then they're also introducing a couple of shows too. But Supergirl is going to be on Mondays, Legends of Tomorrow Thursday, Supernatural is moving to Thursday, for those of you. It was previously Wednesday. I freaking love Supernatural. Jane the Virgin is going to be Monday, Vampire Diaries is Friday, and Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is Friday. Alright, so the dates for the main things here is Flash will be October 4th, Arrow will be October 5th, Supergirl is October 10th, so that's the week afterward, and then Legends of Tomorrow is the 13th, so Supergirl and Legends of Tomorrow will premiere at the same time, and then you get Supernatural October 13th, and Vampire Diaries October 21st. But for those of you who don't know, Supernatural is going on its 12th season, 12 years strong. Woo, my boys, the Winchesters. But I'm actually really excited to see what plays out for Flash, Arrow, and how they're going to rebring Supergirl into this whole thing, with previously them saying that, hey, she's not in the same universe. But overall, that's our stuff. And yeah, that's the fall premieres. And, you know, anything else you want to add, Craig? Craigie Poo? Moose Knuckle?
You guys we will be working on a couple of different other projects. There will be a little while where Aaron won't be able to
2 weeks
do a podcast, so I'm going to be doing a video during the week or two that he cannot.
I also will be working on a video too, myself.
That he won't be able to do with the podcast, so we won't be able to collaborate on this. However, we will both have videos, and they'll be kind of related. We're gonna have a little competition, you know.
My intro's already better. Alright, but I put a poll out earlier on the Heroic Reality Twitter page, and you guys said you wanted more comic videos. So Craig's gonna be working on Marvel. I'm gonna be working on DC, and
because those are respective.
Yes, with those, like, if you look at my room, it's all DC stuff, mainly Batman and Flash. You look at Craig's room, it's all Spider-Man, and he's a 12-year-old. And so yeah, we're going to be trying to work on that. So each of those videos will be independent of ourselves. So we'll both be, so we don't want this to be a strictly podcast channel, because we understand 55-minute to like an hour and a half videos are really hard for people to maintain.
Like this one's already going to be really long because we're still rambling.
We're at an hour and like 10 minutes or something right now. So we understand that these are really long videos, and that they're not necessarily the easiest thing to watch every time we release them every week. So we're going to be making some smaller segment videos and about what's been going on either in comics or movies or whatever, and the smaller ones will be individual to ourselves. So mine will tend to pertain more to DC or stuff that I'm more to the liking of, and Craig's will pertain to stuff that he's more to the liking of. And then we'll all, of course, do the weekly podcast episodes, which we won't be doing for 2 weeks because I will be gone, but we're going to be doing those weekly podcast things. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy these. We are excited.
And we will also put out another probably announcement video letting you guys know that we will not be putting out a couple of podcasts for the next couple of weeks, and kind of giving you guys a little bit more in detail about the upcoming videos, and also get a little bit of feedback if you guys want to see something different, or what you guys want. So we will talk to you guys later.
All right, see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Mwah.